What's up, YouTube? Welcome to KO Bets, the show where we discuss upcoming betting strategies for UFC events. My name is Bill. I'm here to help you make some money, provide you with some entertainment. Tonight, we're going to be going over UFC Fight Night. Rozenstruik taking on Gaziev. Taking place at the UFC Apex Arena tomorrow evening. Took a week off. I just wasn't prepared to go live on Wednesday, and then I was on a bachelor party for the weekend. Also, I just scarfed down a bunch of food, and I had the hiccups, and I feel congested, and I don't know what's going on with me. But I apologize if I'm sounding gross or something at the first part of the stream. I think we'll... The pipes will warm up. Just want to point out that if you want to, you can give me a follow on Twitter. I've got it, yeah, right there. You can see my handle. And I'm posting picks every week along with tracking those picks. So I just do like an Excel spreadsheet and upload the screenshot, and then we're tracking the units. We're up 28.77%. To be honest, I did bet on last weekend's fights, but I just didn't. Couple of moments I was just out of this world, it felt like. But I did. I was at the casino and I did bet on Yair Rodriguez. I was feeling I had a great card making picks up until the co-main and the main event. But yeah, I did. I caught the Yair fight. I caught the Zellhuber fight. I actually ran over there trying to the end of Zellhuber. I ran over trying to catch the Rojas Jr. fight, and it didn't happen. And then yeah. I got salty. I didn't bet anymore on Brandon Royval, but I just stood up and got out of there than the casino. But I think it was a great card. Seemed like everyone was enjoying themselves in the crowd when I was there. I mean, it's a little bit more exciting when you got a little money on the horses, but Abdul Karim El Selgwadi taking on Loik Radzhabov. Pretty certain Abdul might be making his debut here. Yeah, he's good wrestler, good output, had a good contender series showing, and then he's taking on Loik, who lost to Rebecki, which honestly, Rebecki's kind of brutal, and then he probably beat Ribovic. I'm guessing. Yeah, beat Ribovic. Unanimous decision. Looks really like a really, really close fight. Yeah, those stats aren't right. But yeah, Loik is the is he the slight underdog now? I think the issue with Loik is, like, if he's not going to have a grappling advantage against his opponent, he doesn't show a lot of output on the feet, and it's just hard to see him winning minutes. So Abdul comes into this fight. He's really, he's really tough. He's got better output, in my opinion, on the feet than Loik, and then on top of that, he does have the grappling. Loic on the feet just doesn't seem like that's where he ever wants the fight to be. And so I think there's just more paths to victory for Abdul. Having the greater output, being the better stand-up fighter, if the wrestling negates itself. I think Loic is going to go for it. And I think Abdul's got the background and the skill to fend off takedowns, tire out Loic, and be more active. Loic is the favorite. Sorry, Abdul Karim is the favorite at -162. Odds makers like this to go the distance. And yeah, I kind of agree. I think if we look at Loic, he got knocked out by Mateus Rebecki. I don't think Abdul's got that type of power. But up until that Rebecki fight, I mean, no losses inside the distance, so gotta imagine he's tough. And then Abdul, on the other hand, all 3 losses have been knockout losses. So I think the recipe for Loic to win would be probably that knockout. But I'm going to go with the Abdul. I don't know about... I think decision. I'm leaning towards decision. I'm just in my head trying to figure out if maybe over like a round and a half is a safer bet. We could look at that real quick. I'm going to have to do it anyways before I post my picks. I think it's fight parlays over a round and a half. Yeah, -120 versus +150. Yeah, I don't know. I like Abdul in this fight. I also hate hanging money on people making their debuts. Might toss him in a round robin. Like, do that. Might do a little, might do a little bet just to pad the bankroll or try to into other fights. And I think the name of the game is just for this week is identifying the guys you feel really confident in matchup wise and going after those, parlaying them. Look, like, be tedious, make the same game parlays and look for additional value. If you can, take a guy like Ludovic Klein at -900 and you can do something like as silly as, the fight goes over 30 seconds, that's -700. I mean, that's a bad example. Like, I still don't love the value there, but I think that's going to be the name of the game this week because it's just lots of parlays, lots of cheap, like, same game parlays, but like the parlays aren't going to be, if you're doing money line, man, you got -900. Well, let's break down this fight since I was just talking about it. Ludovic Klein taking on AJ Cunningham. AJ Cunningham, he's really tough. He pushes forward, but like matchup wise, he's going to get his ass whooped here. I mean, Ludovic Klein, I thought he had a cardio issue kind of early in the UFC, but lately he's just been fighting really well. I was super surprised with his performance against Ignacio Bahamondes. And the cardio doesn't seem to be an issue anymore for him. He's a tremendous, savvy striker, and then AJ Cunningham just gets hit a ton, and he gets hurt, and he just takes damage, and he's super tough, but just seems like Ludovic Klein knockout is going to be juiced like crazy. I mean, -165, I don't hate it. I mean, and AJ Cunningham is super tough. If we... here we go. Yeah, that was his only knockout loss. Was on Contender Series. Yeah, so I'm just not confident he's at the level. After seeing that, I do still kind of like the Ludovic Klein KO, like minus 900, this favorable matchup. Like, you're being put in a position to make a statement here. So Ludovic Klein knockout. Christian Leroy Duncan taking on Claudio Ribeiro. This line, I understand it. Like, I think Christian Leroy Duncan is the better, more well-rounded fighter. I kind of get, like, Johnny Walker vibes from Claudio Ribeiro, though, where, like, he's so physically imposing and dangerous and explosive that, like, with the right mindset and confidence in the octagon, like, this guy's going to string off, I think, a few, providing it's against strikers. He's going to string off a few wins, I think, at some point. I don't know if he'll ever, contend, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on a little streak. So it's sketching me out a little bit because Christian Leroy Duncan, he's got the cardio. He's more well-rounded. He's technically sound. He's just, on paper, this is his fight, I think. But you got to give Claudio Ribeiro the puncher's chance. And I think for the minus 310 line, minus 360, like, I just can't spend it on Leroy. I would maybe explore, like, Leroy with over around and a half. I might explore something like that because I think where he's gonna win this fight is outside of round one, and then I think Ribeiro, if you're liking him, I'm kind of liking like a round one finish, something earlier, under a round and a half for Ribeiro. As far as my official pick, I'm gonna go with my gut on this one. I just want to look something up. Yeah, I kind of think Ribeiro's gonna catch him. Christian Leroy Duncan comes out. He's super, like, he's not the most aggressive early fighter, and that's gonna provide opportunities and spots for Claudio Ribeiro to just, like, swing as hard as he can early in this fight. I think it's an early finish, first two rounds either way, but yeah, give me Claudio Ribeiro to get it done. Fun underdog pick, and it's not one of the worst lines, I mean, Ayman Zahabi taking on Javid Basharat. Javid Basharat, both Fareed and Javid are tremendous fighters. What happened in his last fight? Who did he fight? Oh, yeah, the nut shot. Fucking horseshit. I fucking hate that shit. Like, I don't know. It just seemed... I guess the guy went to the hospital, so I'm like... I just fucking hate that shit. And Javid's really good. Super well-rounded. He hasn't been getting finishes yet in the UFC, but is very capable and well-rounded. Ayman Zahabi, I would say, is definitely more of a grappler, and yeah, I kind of think his path to victory is just to, like, the path to victory to beating Javid Basharat or Fareed Basharat is into point strike with them, they'll beat you all day at that. They'll fire out the front leg, use their front leg to leg kick their opponents, and then are really technically sound on the feet. They have really good wrestling, but I think you can kind of swarm them a bit, and with some really, really good cardio and pressure, I think you could make yourself look really favorable on the scorecard against Javid and Farid, but it's dangerous because they are so technically sound and good everywhere. That being said, I'm going with Javid to get this done. I think he's tremendous, and I think it'll probably be a decision, just because that's been the stylistic trend we've been seeing with Javid, and unless nut shots become legal, we just can't bank on the finish. So I'm going to go with Javid Basharat decision. Vinicius Oliveira taking on Bernardo Sopaj. I mean, both of these guys got tremendous knockout power. They're making, I think both of these guys are making their debut. The frame of Vinicius is nice. He's going to have a much bigger reach advantage. And then, like I said, both of these guys carry some really good knockout power. I think Bernardo Sopaj is coming in here on a little bit of a win streak, like 4 or 5 fights, and then Vinicius is coming off of 2 finished wins. But I mean, these guys did not look friendly with each other at the weigh-ins, and so I'm actually kind of thinking this one's going to be a car crash, and Vegas kind of agrees, given the fact that the over-under here is put at 1.5 rounds. I like Sopaj, I think. I like Sopaj. But somebody's getting knocked out. I don't know who. Yeah, and like I said, I think it'll probably be an early finish, but this is probably a good fight for me to stay away from. Maybe fight props. Fight doesn't go the distance. Maybe I could parlay that or round robin that, but probably a good fight to stay away from. Last fight of the prelims, we've got Eric Anders taking on Jamie Pickett. And I just don't think Jamie Pickett's that good. 13-10 professionally. He's on like a 4 or 5 fight losing streak. Granted, there's some names in there, right? Some really good guys, but yeah, I just think Eric Anders is the better fighter. This is a big step down in competition for Eric Anders, and he should go out there, and honestly, he should get the finish, in my opinion. I don't really see any reason why he shouldn't walk out of there with the KO or submission victory. Odds makers like the decision. I mean, so maybe, and this is a big Pickett fade. I just don't think he's good. But give me Eric Anders to get it done, and I think there's some value probably inside the distance. For the main card, we've got Matt Schnell taking on Steve Erceg, and this is a good fight. We haven't seen Matt Schnell in a while. I think it was like 2022, so it's been over a year since we've seen him. Probably like 13, 14 months, and he lost. And then he's just not the most durable fighter so far in his career. Has to pull out of a lot of fights and gets hurt in a lot of his fights. And then Steve Erceg, he's coming in here. He's been super impressive. I think just 2 fights in the UFC, but the Dvorak fight was crazy, and he He looks really good. Super well-rounded in the grappling department. But yeah, I think Urseg is going to give Machnell a lot of problems with his output, his volume, his, when it does get to the mat, his grappling. So give me Steve Urseg here. Another heavy favorite at minus 500. Odds makers do not like this to go the distance. They like the Urseg knockout or submission, which I would have to agree with. I just don't think, Urseg inside the distance, I just don't think, and that's minus 165. I don't think Machnell's durable. The next fight we've got is Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Bekzat Almakhan. This was supposed to be Umar. Well, Umar's next fight was supposed to be against. He was supposed to get Corey Sandhagen, and then he got hurt, so he hasn't fought in like a year, recovering from I think a shoulder injury, and so now he's coming in here, and he's fighting some dude making his debut. I don't really know what we're doing. 16-0 against 17-1. Okay. I don't get it. And then on top of it, it's it's like, just get a fucking name. Get a fight. And I know injuries happen and shit, but what is going on? Why can't we twist athletes' arms to get Umar an opponent? Now he's got to face this Bekzat guy who I think he better beat. That's what it is now, right? He better beat him, and I think I think we're gonna look at this performance and just feel a little underwhelmed with what we see from Umar. He's got a tough opponent. He hasn't been in the octagon in over a year, recovering from an injury, and it's just he should be the better fighter, but we're not. It's gonna be a decision, right? So, we can say they're really good till we're blue in the face, and they could win the title like this, but what the fuck are we doing? Let's throw some fists. Umar plus 165. What was Bekzat's loss? One submission loss. Alright. I don't know, guys. Minus 1200. What the fuck? Alright. Alex Perez taking on Muhammad Makayev. It's another wrestle effort, and Muhammad Makayev, who's again super talented, and he's gotten a couple of third round finishes in his last two fights, but I don't know. I'm just not it looks like hard work, right? Wrestling with Umar, wrestling with Muhammad, but just maybe the performances aren't as they're just not that good, in my opinion. Yeah, it's exciting to submit Malcolm Gordon, Philo, and Elliott, all of them in round 3, but I don't know. Elliott had a good fight. Philo had his knee bent, and then Gordon, he was just happy not to get punched in the face, and I expect Muhammad Makayev to win this fight. It is a step up in competition, and I expect it to look a lot like his other fights, where he's in there against someone who's probably not going to get tapped in 10 minutes. So we're just going to watch like him ride his back for 2 rounds and then see if he can get the third round finish again. You know, so late finish, Muhammad Mokaev. Let's go for 4 in a row. He's minus 139, 395 favorite. Odds makers don't like this to go the distance. I mean, there's a fight parlay where you can do groups, and there's a round 3 or decision for plus 120 for Muhammad Mokaev. I think that's the formula. And then I don't fault anyone. Like, I mean, it could happen where none of these dogs win, but one of them's going to. I picked Claudio Ribeiro. I mean, I guess Sopaj if you want to consider that, but I mean, one of these is going to hit. I don't think it's going to be Alex Perez this week, but it's one of the closer lines somehow. The next fight we've got is Vitor Petrino taking on Tyson Pedro. This should be a pretty fun fight. I'm not like the biggest Tyson Pedro fan, but he's got good knockout power. He's strong. He just doesn't seem to have like the best cardio and output, in my opinion. So I think he's most dangerous early. I think Vitor Petrino he's looked really good. It seems really dangerous. Is pretty impressive. I like Vitor Petrino to get this done. I don't know if it's going to be... I think we saw him get a submission his last fight. That might have been his first. Oh, that was 2 fights ago against Prachino. He got it. But he's just... Petrino's so patient, and like, I think he's going to be there for round 2, and then that's where he's going to start to look really good against a guy with low output like Tyson Pedro. And then, you can just work that front leg kick all round 1, stay on the outside, make Pedro whiff a couple times, tire him out, and then just break him down from there. And I think you can... Vitor Petrino is more than capable of getting this finish. So minus 355 favorite, Vitor Petrino. Odds makers do not like this to go the distance. They like the Petrino KO. I mean, Pedro's got 1 KO loss, 1 submission loss. I could see a submission, honestly. I could see one. So I'm going to say Petrino to get it done inside the distance. Minus 120, but yeah, like I said, before we do the main card, in the right there, I got my Twitter. I'll post my official like bets with unit tracking there tomorrow morning. Why am I going into the odds? Jairzinho Rozenstruik taking on Shamil Gaziev. Shamil's looked good in the UFC. He's a big boy, has good power, but the wrestling is what he's going to want to exploit here. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the wrestling, right? And then on top of that, like, let's look at these rounds. Round 2, round 1, round 1, round 2. Split decision. So it just isn't going the distance a whole lot in 5-round fights. I think it's kind of like he's got to get that finish early, or like first round, second round, and outside of that, like, he might drop 3 straight rounds. So there might be an opportunity to hedge with Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who's just a tremendous kickboxer, carries great power, is capable of knocking out anyone. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Shamil to get it done though. Early, like just round one. Just go over there, wrestle him down, get your paycheck, and get out of there. Minus 198 favorite for Shamil. Like I said, I like, excuse me. Round one Shamil, that's plus 150 though. I don't know if I love that. And then maybe live betting for Jairzinho, or doing like fight parlay, like finding that number to hedge with that makes sense on the front end. I don't know. Yeah, but fights start early tomorrow. It's like it says 3 p.m. Central Time, so that'll be good. And let's check out what's if there's anything interesting trending. It's always wrestling tonight. Oh, there were some Draftkings bets. So it was like Steph Curry to have 6 or more points in the first quarter. And oh yeah, they started. He's at 17 on the game. Let's see if we can count it up real quick. Let's do first. Chris Paul's back. Wow. I can't Okay, so that's a 3. That's 6! We got it! Yeah, they boosted that to plus 100. And then look, another 3-pointer. So he had it easily. And then I think Giannis was on special. Why the fuck are they playing a 9 o'clock game in Chicago? I can't even get over there. I'd want to sit like here or here. What's the difference? Oh. They should let you like, dude, if these tickets are for sale, they should let you like lowball, right? Like I'll give you $50. You know what I mean? It's like what? Otherwise, like no one gets them. It's kind of whack. All right, and yeah, then the other bet was Giannis to have like a combined. Let me see. I think 50. In that one, you could still place, I guess, technically. 50 points, rebounds, and assists, like the combos. I think 50 was the number, and it was boosted to like. Yeah, the Steph one hit. Yeah, 50 plus points, rebounds, and assists. It was at plus 110. It got boosted to plus 200. And then there was a little 50% NBA bet boost on DraftKings. So that's the action I got tonight. So, all right, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the fights. Stay safe. Hydrate. Thanks for watching.